Now, from the airport to some grocery stores, even some hair salons, they are becoming a regular part of health and safety checks in this COVID-19 era. We're talking about infrared thermometers, better known as the temperature guns. They scan your body for a fever, and while the government hasn't made them mandatory for businesses, many are choosing to take that step. City News reporter Tina Yazdani joins us now, looking into just how well they actually work, Tina. And what's interesting is that there's a bit of a mixed opinion on how effective they are. Good morning.
Good morning, Mel. Yes, there is. Different doctors have different opinions on whether or not these should be used. The idea is that they're going to scan people for a fever, but there's some concern about whether or not they can actually identify people who may have COVID-19, because what a temperature gun does is actually scan the outside of the body. So it's effectively taking the temperature of your skin and not your internal temperature, which is the temperature you need to identify a fever. So that is one concern. And basically any device doctors say that you're going to buy over the counter is going to have its limitations and not maybe identify if a person has a fever or not. A number of factors can affect whether or not your skin gets warm. Say you sit under the hot sun for a half an hour and then you get a reading with one of these temperature guns. It might show that your body temperature is higher, but that might not be indicative of whether or not you actually have a fever. But while Toronto Public Health is not recommending that you necessarily do this, that businesses do this, some people are doing it anyways, and some doctors say it's better than nothing. So here's what a few doctors we spoke with had to say.
Asking those symptoms are going to be more beneficial than actually checking someone's temperature, because with COVID, not everyone who has COVID has a temperature actually. And if you have a new runny nose, or if you've actually lost your taste or smell, sometimes that's the only symptom people have. No fever associated with it. That's actually very indicative of COVID, and you will miss that by just relying on a temperature actually.
Generally, as a screening measure for COVID-19, taking temperatures is not a particularly specific or sensitive tool. So in other words, there'd be a lot of false negatives. But it's better than nothing, right? At least we'll get some cases. You'll be able to identify some, and that's better than none.
So it is definitely, there are some mixed opinions, but some doctors, again, are saying that it's better than not doing anything at all.
So, Tina, I know in your full report a little bit later on, you're going to test some out to look at some sort of effectiveness, looking at different factors that come into play as well?
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting science, and I didn't actually know this, but your temperature fluctuates throughout the day, your body temperature. So when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, you're going to have different readings at those times of day. So we bought a bunch of thermometers and different temperature guns, different brands, to just test out the quality of the readings that you're going to be getting, and then we're going to put them to the test. We're going to test them or use them after we exercise, after a hot shower, for instance, different times of the day, just to kind of show viewers how different the readings may or may not be. We're not sure yet how big of a difference we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, there are so many questions and factors at play here. So Tina's full report, you can find that City News at 5 and 6, as well as citynews.ca. Tina, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Mel.